Hello, my name is Linrong Mei. Today, I'm going to talk about the marketing of Keats House. Keats House, originally known as Wentworth Palace, was built in 1815–16 for the Duke family and Charles Browne. John Keats, an English romantic poet, lodged with Browne from December 1818. The house turned into a museum in 1925. This video will be divided into 3 parts. First of all, I will say the means of advertising of Keats House. Next, I'll look at the audience analyzed, which is a research carried out by myself. And finally, I'll tell you something about the evaluation of the marketing of Keats House. So, let's first look at what I've been done in advertising Keats House. There are many ways of advertising: handbooks, posters, printed materials, websites, oral publicity, social media, and activities. The use of Facebook should be noted here, as it is used as a main tool in publicity. It should be found that news, events, and poems are posted more than twice a week on Facebook. In addition, 2 videos related to Keats House are available on YouTube, uploaded on 21st July 2015. The information of Keats House from YouTube may not be as updated as that from Facebook. What's more, Eventbrite was used in broadcasting upcoming events, allocating tickets, and collecting fees. These means of advertising are carried out independently by Keats House. In addition, there are many collaborations with different institutions and programs. For instance, there is a co-branding measure with London Small Historic House. If you go to the website of London SHH, you can find information about Keats House. Also, information of Keats House can be seen if people go to one of London's small historic houses. Keats House is also being advertised on the website of City of London. Read John Keats' love letters at Keats House is listed on things to do in London on the website of Visit England. People who have a National Art Pass or a London Pass may have free access to Keats House. In this way, the variety of publicity could be figured out. Now let's look on to the second part, the audience analysis. According to Gale, Dexter, Lord, and so on, there are 5 steps in museum marketing. Firstly, understand the museum's current visitors. Secondly, compare this reality with the demographics of the resident market and the tourists who visit this area. Thirdly, set marketing priorities around target market segments and to identify marketing strategies. Fourthly, implementation of the marketing plan. And finally, the evaluation of the results. Based on this opinion, I interviewed one of staff of Keats House, who has worked as a curator for 30 years. To figure out their views of current visitors, key features such as age groups, gender, nationality, and numbers are listed below. Most current audiences are 13 to 60-year-old people, mostly female. Around 15% to one-third visitors are overseas visitors. Around 20,100 people visited Keats House from April 2015 to April 2016. Google Analytics is used to figure out characteristics of potential audiences by collecting information from Keats House related websites. For instance, information such as name, nationality, through what keywords to research Keats House website could be collected. Although it shows features of potential audiences, it suggests a way to get better understanding of current audiences. In order to get a better understanding of current audiences, I interviewed 23 people, including visitors and residents around Keats House by random. It could be found that the three characteristics of the interviewed people, age groups, gender, and nationality, are in highly accordance with the whole audiences. What's more, although some residents live nearby, they do not visit Keats House. When asked about how to get to know Keats House for the first time, about 74% people said that they know it from friends, family, and other approaches. Based on the fact that Keats House regards Facebook as one of main approaches in advertisement, this figure shows a huge gap between the marketing approaches and the reality. In other words, although Keats House search for ways to marketing itself on the website and social media, it might not be as effective as it assumed. In fact, oral publicity still remains the main approach for people to get to know Keats House. Nevertheless, the marketing of Keats House is still impressive, concerning different attractions being promoted. Overall, there are many kinds of activities hosted by Keats House, and the frequency is 1 to 3 times a week. Keats House is not merely a museum. Routines such as guided tour, workshops, guided walk, poetry performances, late events attract all age groups. Literature workshops and events could be highlights of Keats House. It is said that the admission income consists of less than half of Keats House income. In fact, a considerable funding is given for Keats House's contribution to people's life by the City of London. In this way, Keats House could make ends meet. Next, let's go back to the survey itself. Besides exhibition, the percentages of literature activities, guided walk, family day are similar to each other, showing that these activities attract people as well. Concerning audience satisfactory, 84% of the interviewed people are satisfied with the visiting experience. An elderly lady comments that it is wonderful to see the house hosting such a variety of activities, supporting poets and so on. According to a young female visitor who currently lives outside the UK, that Keats House is very informative for a number of ages. From these comments and feedbacks, it could be concluded that Keats House attracts visitors from a wide range of people, receiving highly reputation from both visitors and the City of London. Before I finish, I'd like to say a few words about the marketing of Keats House, and it could be concluded as 3A: approaches, attractions, and audience feedbacks. Considering the approaches of marketing method, Keats House employ a wide range of promotion methods. However, the effectiveness of this method remains unclear. For instance, although Facebook may be one of the main marketing methods, the outcomes of the survey suggest that the effectiveness of the Facebook should be re-evaluated. In addition, it is suggested that new approaches could be used to attract overseas audiences. Although overseas audiences make up of a considerable audiences, marketing methods aimed to these people haven't been found. Given that the video uploaded on YouTube was 2 years ago and many visitors know Keats House from other approaches instead of Facebook or Twitter. Secondly, let's talk about the attractions of Keats House. Serving as a museum in memory of Keats, Keats House may not have a wide range of collections. From this point of view, besides collections, searching for other attractions become necessary. Compared to other London small historic houses, such as Benjamin Franklin House or Dr. Johnson's house, the literature activities related to Keats House carried out is impressive both in quality, quantity, and scope. The house becomes alive with special events throughout the year, attracting many people to revisit it. Also, it plays an important role in the community. Lastly, let's look at the audience feedback. It is concerned that the audience feedback might be missing in the marketing of Keats House. Although audience could contact with Keats House by mail or through Facebook or Twitter, little interaction between Keats House and the audiences could be found compared to the total number of audiences on Facebook or Twitter. Nevertheless, the use of Google Analytics and social media might contribute to understanding audience. What's more, the results of the survey shows that Keats House managed to get high audience satisfactory. That's the end of the video. Thank you for your watching.